Special Explorers. Author's note: while regular explorers have had their class illustrations incorrectly portrayed their genders over the years, Cannoneer, Dualblade, and Pathfinder have consistently been portrayed the same way, just like named classes. Because of this, I'm working with the assumption that Cannoneer and Dualblader are male, while Pathfinder is female. On Maple Island, new explorers trained to become strong enough to travel to Victoria Islands. There they would choose a branch of combat. Dances with Balrogs taught warriors in Parion. Rendell the Really Old taught magicians in Alinea. Athena Pierce taught bowmen in Hennesis. And the Dark Lord taught thieves in Kerning City. One day, the people of Victoria Island saw a giant submarine appear, from which an adult Kirin emerged. During her voyages, she had amassed her own crew and a ship called the Nautilus. Having learned about the Blackwings and their goal to resurrect the Black Mage, Kirin realized that she needed to warn the world and sailed back home to Victoria Islands, resolving to help the Explorers Guild prepare for the threat of the Black Mage. Kirin decided to teach explorers the way of the pirate. Author's note: in the original lore for Destinin, a young Kirin overhears Athena and the other leaders talking about how Destinin never returned from his journey to find traces of the Black Mage. Refusing to believe that her father had passed away, Kirin runs away from home and spends many years at sea until she becomes a captain, obtaining her own crew and the Nautilus. The rest of the lore is the same, except that in the original lore, she gives up her search after learning about the Blackwings and eventually accepts that her father is dead, after which she reunites with her long-lost foster mother, Athena Pierce, before resolving to become a pirate instructor. One explorer hopeful, who was on his way from Maple Island to Victoria Island, was on his way from Maple Island to Victoria Island when his ship was attacked by a Crimson Balrog. The explorer crashed on Coco Island, where he was saved by a monkey. Author's note: in the original Cannoneer storyline, you're actually on your way to Maple Island in order to get started on your journey, but this created a continuity error because the Cannoneers share the main Explorer storyline, and one of the quests had us recall our time on Maple Island, which obviously never happened, because we never reached our destination. This has been corrected as of the Destiny update, which actually has us follow the same Explorer tutorial as regular explorers. We start out on Maple Island with the same intro as the main explorers, but the main difference is that the Shangri-La gets filled up, and so instead of boarding with Sugar, Tess, and Olive, and Rondo, we have to board a second ship that crashes on Coco Island. Interestingly, the name of the map while you're on this ship is incorrectly labeled with the old name of Towards Maple Island. The explorer then met a man named Cutter, who introduced himself as the master engineer who had designed the Nautilus. He explained that Kirin had given him a secret project to create a powerful weapon that would make the pirates stronger. He had built a large cannon weapon out at sea, but his ship had crashed against the rocks, and he had been swept away to Coco Island. With the explorers' help, they were able to use the large cannon to blast themselves off the island. They made it aboard the Nautilus, where Kirin allowed the explorer to use the super weapon in order to become the Cannoneer. The monkey who had saved the Cannoneer also followed him back to Victoria Islands, where it became his companion. Author's note: from here on out, the Cannoneer storyline continues playing out the same way as the Explorer storyline, which I'll cover in a later section. Another explorer, hoping to become a thief, was recruited by a man named Ryden, who instead convinced the explorer to follow Lady Syl rather than the Dark Lord. After passing the initiation trials, the explorer became a dual blade under Lady Syl's tutelage. Author's note: as of the Destiny update, dual blades start out on Maple Island and follow the tutorial all the way up to the point that they land on Victoria Islands, whereas their old tutorial began in the Secret Garden, the headquarters of the dual blades. After the events on Maple Island, dual blades go through the initiation quests. Following initiation, they complete all of the main Explorer storyline until Second Job, after which they then do the main dual blade storyline, which is covered in the next paragraph. There are several continuity errors that show up in the dual blade storyline, which I've covered in an earlier section. I hope that these would have been addressed in Destiny since Cannoneer's issue was fixed, but it seems like Nexon is never gonna touch this again. Lady Syl gave the Dual Blade a top-secret mission to infiltrate the Dark Lord's ranks in order to spy on him. After gaining the Dark Lord's trust, the Dual Blade began monitoring his activities and even managed to steal his diary. Upon reading it, he learned that a resident of Kerning City named Jeppy had been banished by the Dark Lord. After finding Jeppy, he learned that the former Dark Lord and Jin had been on a quest to hunt down an unseen evil. Following their trial, Dual Blade traveled deep beneath the Cursed Temple in Sleepywood, where he gained proof of Jin's innocence from Mu Young and Tristan's spirits. After presenting this evidence to Lady Syl, she had a crisis of identity, as she was forced to accept that Jin had not murdered her father, as she had always believed for so long ago. Sometime later, she told the Dual Blade that she was planning to unite the Dual Blades with the Thieves. However, she first wanted the Dual Blade to defeat the Dark Lord in order to demonstrate that her teachings were superior, thereby also proving to Jin that she had never been weak enough, that he needed to keep the truth about her father's death from her. After the Dual Blade defeated Jin and proved that Lady Syl's teaching were superior, the Dual Blades officially merged with the Dark Lord's thieves. Author's note: we actually defeat a shadow clone of the Dark Lord, as it would be dumb for us to have canonically defeated a job instructor at level 65, the same way that it's dumb that we defeat the Black Mage's shadow at first job in the revamped Explorer storyline. There are a couple of small things that I didn't mention about the Dual Blade storyline, which I'll dump here. Lady Syl's father, Sung, was a Dual Blade, and it seems the Dual Blades have always existed alongside thieves in the new story, rather than Lady Syl inventing the branch, with Syl even mentioning that she would have expected her father to pick a fellow Dual Blade as his successor rather than Jin as the next Dark Lord. While the Dual Blades and the Thieves merge together in the new storyline, the old storyline actually shows that the Dual Blades remained a separate faction and their organization joined the Alliance separately from the Explorers. In fact, the number of Dual Blades in the old storyline far surpassed the combined number of Explorers on Victoria Island, which gave them greater bargaining power than the other factions. Rather than wanting to merge with all the thieves like in the new storyline, the original Dual Blade lore has Lady Syl request that the Dual Blades be given their own town at the end of the war with the Black Mage, which was a demand that she could make because of the sheer number of Dual Blades in her faction. I think that this would have been really cool to implement post Tenebris, with a separate hometown for Dual Blades being made near Kerning City, similar to Tulian City and Savage Terminal existing close to each other. Yet another explorer, a bowman, was one of Athena Pierce's greatest units, who had an unquenchable thirst for adventure. She spent her time exploring ancient ruins and finding rare artifacts. During one such adventure, she found a hidden passageway in the Parion Mountains that led to a secret workshop. There she discovered that the owner of the workshop had left behind research on a relic in the Partum ruins near Hennesis, which was said to have been the civilization of the Karupa species. She entered the ruins and found the ancient relic, but the dark energies corrupting the relic inflicted a curse upon her. She decided to find a way to remove the curse by exploring the Partum ruins. She encountered a Karupa village, where she learned that the ruins were said to have healed people, but over time, dark energies had overtaken the ruins and caused rumbling noises, and so the Karupa stayed away. After learning that the bowman was cursed with the same energy as the ruins, the villagers refused to help her. However, one Karupa named Bree decided to help the bowman by coming with her to the ruins, as she decided that someone had to do something about the rumbling. With the help of an eccentric Karupa named Gorgons, they made their way into the ruins. Author's note: all of the Karupa NPCs are named after cheese. For instance, Brie is named after Brie cheese, while Gorgons is named after Gorgonzola. Inside, they learned more about the relic. During the era of the ancient gods, the relic had been created from the wood of a sacred tree, and the Karupa worshipped it for its power to heal the sick and help the lost. After the ancient gods were cast down and replaced by transcendence, however, the relic had lost much of its power. The group also learned that a black-robed man had used his powers on the relic, causing it to become cursed. However, the divine power of the ancient gods and the cursed energies coexisted in the relic, and the bowman learned that if she were to become its true owner, the curse would be lifted. Afterwards, the bowman became known as Pathfinder and left to make the relic's power her own. As the Pathfinder grew stronger, she felt the relic pulling her towards several statues in Perion and Aqua Road, where she absorbed their power into the relic. The energy transfer also gave her visions of the black-robed man, whom she'd learned was Kristen, and how he failed to replicate the ancient power of the relic. Though it appeared as though he had vanished, she suspected that not only was he from a different dimension, but he also hadn't truly given up on his goals. Author's note: they've been doing a lot with Kristen lately, which is surprising since the story with the Black Mage is over. The stuff about him from a being from a different dimension is surprising, but not unexpected, since he seems to be several centuries old. I wonder whether they'll ever show him in the main story, as his last chronological appearance was during the Pink Bean prequest in the Gate of the Past.